living like a Stae. Hey, hey, 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 love yourself first, explicitly. You overtook yourself to move with that energy. Empower your self-esteem. Self-love is king. That's the only way to win. That's how you empower your dream. Living like a Stae. Hey, hey, living like a Stae. Hey, hey, living like a Stae. Hey, hey, living like a Stae. Hey, hey.
Hey y'all, happy Mindset Monday. Welcome to Living Life with Stae. Hey Deborah, hey Cece, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate y'all so much. I don't know why, but it feels like it has been forever since I went live, and maybe it has been forever since I've done a live. I really don't even know when the last time, because your girl has been going, but in a good way, no complaints at all, just figuring out how everything is going to fit together and make sense. So that's where we are. But I'm happy to be here today. I just finished making a delicious lasagna. I had to taste just a little bit of it. And hey, Sienna, hi. Thank you so much for being here, beautiful. And yeah, I had to get a little taste before I came live. Wallace was eating and I was like, okay, let me taste it. It's so good, y'all. And I made it early today, really earlier, but just put it out for dinner because I like for it to sit, you know, and kind of let everything marinate. But yeah, so I'm excited about dinner. But anyway, hey, y'all. Thank you so much for being here. Today, we are going to talk about gaslighting, y'all. And gaslighting really, like, for the mature woman, the woman over 50. And yeah, it's always better the next day. That's why I said, well, let me put it together earlier, right? Always better the next day. A lot of things with sauces are like that. So yeah, we're going to talk about gaslighting. Gaslighting, especially, you know, for the mature women, those of us who are a seasoned age, over 40, over 50, y'all know I don't try to hide my age at all. I'm a seasoned 52. And just wanted to talk about it because, again, I'm still in this Olympics state of mind. And I have just been seeing a lot of what I feel like is gaslighting from the media and comments. I am not somebody who normally goes to the comments, but that is something that I have been doing lately. And it gets bad in the comments. And then we're also in this season of election. And yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. That is grown. I love it. I love it. But just a lot of gaslighting. And it's something that I've experienced in my personal life before I ever even knew what gaslighting was. Now it's like, oh, so that's what they were doing. But I did understand emotional manipulation, right? And so it's something that I had to overcome. Hey, Nisi Poo, thank you so much for being here, Ladybug. Good to see you. Happy birthday once again. Hey there, Jamie. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you, hon, so much. But yeah, it's just something people will get you with that. And, you know, I use the word manipulation a lot when I'm talking to y'all to tell you just to beware of manipulation, things that people say to you, those offhanded comments, the constant complaining. And so we're just going to talk about that. And I made sure that I put the definition of gaslighting in the description just in case anybody was looking ahead of time. But I know when I first heard the term gaslighting, because again, being a woman of a certain age, I wasn't necessarily sure what it meant. So I'm going to read the definition I have here. I don't know if it's going to be verbatim, the same exact. Hey, Lachey, how are you doing, Nisi Poo? Oh, yeah, I know. Girl, no, you don't have my countdown on there. Stae ain't posted in 11 days. Stae has been working. I have been super productive in the business. iSalt has me just working every day. So my coaching clients, I'm getting new clients every week. I'm getting new contracts every week. So I am really doing everything that I could do to make it happen. So I already was telling y'all last week, I am going to stop vlogging for a little while as far as blogging consistently and do more pre-recorded content So now I got to figure out exactly when I'm going to do that. Plus, I'm working on this next book that, needs to come out. It's a lot, but yeah, she got the countdown on me. So that pushes me. I like that, Lachey. You said 11 days. And I never normally go more than 5 days or so without posting a video. So I need to do better. So thank you for calling your auntie out, girl. I ain't mad at all. But anyway, I didn't really know what it meant. So I don't know if this is going to be verbatim the same exact definition that I put in the description, but to gaslight someone means to manipulate another person into doubting their own perceptions, experiences, or understanding of events. And that's according to the American Psychological Association. And so really, hey, Chris, thank you so much for being here. So really, gaslighting is when people try to play those mind games on you. And so when we're talking about gaslighting, a lot of times, and things that we talk about as far as narcissistic behavior, we talk about manipulation and everything as far as relationships. I always want you all to broaden your minds outside of the dating and romantic relationship, outside of marriage, outside of all that. Know that that is included, but understand that you can be in a toxic relationship just with a good girlfriend or a good guy friend. You can be in a toxic relationship with your parents. You can be in a toxic relationship with your own children. You can be in a toxic relationship with your siblings. You can be in a toxic relationship with coworkers. Toxic relationships where things like gaslighting and narcissistic behaviors can occur, or anytime you were involved in a relationship with another person. So don't think that when we talk about this stuff that it's only pertaining to your romantic relationships. These are any relationships. And for me, in my life, a lot of the things that I discussed came from my familial relationships, even more so than my regular friendships or even romantic relationships, because it was easier for me to notice, address, and cut those other relationships off. So not to say that I've always had perfect romantic relationships or anything like that. It's just that when I felt that I was being mistreated, when I wasn't being hurt, when I wasn't happy, I just cut it off. And sometimes I cut people off too soon because I recognize certain signs and I just didn't even want to deal with it or put the work in, because I had dealt with it my entire life in different relationships. And it was like certain relationships I kind of felt like I had to maintain. So relationships that weren't serving me. And I know someone had questioned me about that before, about what do you mean by relationships serving you? I mean, relationships should go both ways. And that's what I mean. The relationship should be serving both people. Relationships should pour into both people. And it doesn't always have to be a 50-50. It doesn't always have to be all the time that way, but you should never be in any type of relationship when you're never getting anything out of it. And that anything out of it is going to mean for you whatever that means to you, whether it's emotional support, whatever, if it's just a good time, a listening ear, just that you are receiving something. You don't ever want to be involved with something that just takes from you constantly and doesn't give anything back. It's even, for those of us, which I'm saying us now, who are into gardening and things, even into gardening, we are doing something. We're giving a lot into the gardening. We're planting, we're taking care of it. We're cultivating it. We're nurturing it, but we're wanting something in return. We're going to get the fruits of our labor. We're going to get the harvest from that. And so it's a give and take. Absolutely. Absolutely. You can, Chris. Thank you so much for even being interested in that. And yeah, I just got to get this. This is going to be book number 4. So I got to get it done. So today we're going to talk about this emotional manipulation, recognizing it, overcoming it, and what gaslighting exactly is. And so for me, the best way to explain it is that if you find yourself in a relationship with someone where every time you have a conversation with them about anything that pertains to your feelings, your actions, what's going on with your life, or anything that has to do with the relationship you have with them, especially if you've brought something to their attention that you want to talk about, something that's bothering you that they did or they said, and you walk away from the conversation every single time, feeling bad, doubting yourself. Hey, Shirley, enjoy California, girl. Enjoy it. I'm sure everybody is hyped there as they turned over the flag and passed the torch last night for the Olympics for 2028. Thank you for being here, girl. But every time you have those kind of conversations with that person, you walk away confused, conflicted, like, is it me? Did that really happen? Because the way they respond to you completely catches you off guard, then that's somebody who's probably gaslighting you. People who gaslight you do things like call you dramatic every single time you display any type of emotion, or you make them aware that something they did or said made you feel some kind of way. They are going to call you dramatic, or they're going to call you sensitive. They never are going to be the type of person who wants to hear you out and try to figure out why you felt that way. They're automatically just going to put the blame on you. No matter what was said or done, you're just dramatic, or you're just too sensitive. Or these are the people who are going to say things like, you're always looking for something to be upset about. I can't ever do anything to please you. Those are the kind of things that people say to you when they're trying to gaslight you. Let me see. Lachey said, I had to back away from a friend who I was very supportive with her new business, but she wasn't giving me the same with my business. Also, always called out about her troubles, but never asked how I'm doing. Yes, that's a telltale sign too of somebody who is a gaslighter, is that they can call you and tell you all their woes, all their troubles, whatever, and you listen and you give your advice or whatever. But as soon as you mention something, even in that same conversation that's going on with you, now all of a sudden their whole mood changes. They got to go. They busy. They got to call on the other line because they don't really care what's going on with you. And that's also narcissistic behavior. Narcissistic behavior comes with gaslighting. Narcissists are always going to gaslight you. They're always going to negate your feelings, and they're always going to make you feel as though you have a problem. People who gaslight you also, whenever you are thinking about something, or maybe you're contemplating something, you're not sure if you're making the right decision or whatever, they're going to say, well, if you were so confident or so sure of yourself, you wouldn't be thinking about that. They always want to plant the seed of doubt in your mind that something is wrong with you, that you're the problem, you're the issue, it's your emotions, it's your lack of intelligence, it's your lack of know-how that is causing the problem. Yeah, they say things like, you're always in your feelings. No, I'm not always in my feelings. And the thing is, sometimes when you're dealing with someone who gaslights you all the time, who is probably also a narcissist, maybe they always have you in your feelings because of their antics. And that's the kind of things that you have to think about. And sometimes it's confusing because we end up in these toxic relationships with people who are supposed to be the ones who care about us the most, right? They're supposed to be the ones who support us the most. So whether this looks like your boyfriend or girlfriend, your mom, your dad, your best friend since elementary school, it's easy for them to play those mind games with you because you have a certain level of respect for their feelings, for their opinions. You hold them in high esteem. You feel like they know you very well. And so if they're always coming at you with this stuff, it does cause you sometimes to take that pause and say, am I always upset about something? Did it really happen that way? Because that's the thing too. Whenever you're discussing something with somebody who's going to gaslight you, they're always going to make it seem as though you have the facts mixed up. You didn't remember something correctly. You're changing the words. You're changing the tone. Somebody who gaslights you will yell in your face, cuss you out, call you every name in the book. And then as soon as you respond to them in a certain way, they will act like, oh my gosh, why are you tripping? And you'll be like, well, you just called me everything but the child of God. You was raising your voice at me. And they'll say, I never called you anything. What are you talking about? I didn't call you out of your name. What do you mean raising my voice? I always talk about this. Or they're also going to be the people who say that tone doesn't matter. Why are you so into tone? See, you just looking for stuff. You're just, no, that's not what that is. Or they'll say things like, you always do this to me. That's why I don't like to have conversations with you. So everything is going to be spun on you. Never are they going to say, you know what? I see where you're coming from. You know what? Maybe I was a little hyped. They're not even going to say, that wasn't my intention. They're going to just straight up say, I didn't do that. I didn't say that. You always do this to me. They're not even going to consider the fact that they played any part in what's going on whatsoever. The whole point of gaslighting is to switch everything and make it be you are the one who's wrong. And so those kind of relationships really can play a huge number on your mental health, especially if it takes you a long time to recognize it. And people are so good at it, it will really have you wondering what's wrong with you. It'll have you asking other people, like, do I do this? Or do I seem like this kind of person who does this all the time? And there are those of us who can sometimes be easy targets for gaslighting and narcissistic people, and how we attract those people into your life, to our lives. And this is how. Someone like me, for instance, let me see. I'm sorry, I didn't see your, when they flip it on you, as soon as they say something, they flip the script on you. Yeah, absolutely. And so somebody like me, for instance, y'all hear me say all the time, I'm not perfect. I have tons of flaws, but I am self-aware. I pretty much know the things I need to work on. I know, the things that might be irritating to other people. I know my mood swings. I'm aware of that kind of stuff. And I get it. None of us are perfect. Let me see. Do gaslighters always know that they're gaslighters? No, they don't. Because again, narcissistic personalities, and unfortunately, people who are like gaslighters, narcissists, people who suffer from personality disorder, they're not really going to know that they're that kind of person because they're totally oblivious. All they care about is keeping the blame off of them. Everything is about them. They are in charge. They are perfect. And so they don't notice. And unfortunately, it takes a whole lot of self-awareness for them to know. And I even talked to my therapist about it. And she said that those kind of things are even hard to deal with in therapy, because people with those kind of personalities, either one, don't even go to therapy because they don't think anything's wrong with them. Or number two, if they end up in therapy, all they do is come and complain about other people and what other people are doing to them. And so even with therapy, therapy is not like surgery where they can just go in and remove something and you're healed. You have to be an active participant in your therapy. And so people who have personality disorders, gaslighters, narcissists, and y'all know I'm not a licensed therapist, and I probably should have had one of my licensed therapist friends on here with me today. But I've been through enough therapy, and I have enough therapist friends that I am pretty secure in the things that I share with y'all. But those kind of people are not going to be super self-aware. So they're not, so they don't even realize it. They think everybody else is the problem. Lachey said, I don't think they know because they don't listen when someone tells them they are wrong. They don't care to acknowledge. Exactly. They do whatever is going to suit them at the time. And so they're not really caring enough, because most of the time for us to realize that we do certain things. Now, there are people who might just gaslight on occasion, and they might be doing it intentionally. And that would be more of just trying to manipulate or whatever. But people who that's just kind of their way of life, that is their personality, most of the time, no, they don't realize it. Right. Yeah. Because they're never wrong. And those are also the people who will go and argue with the therapist or whatever, because they know everything and everybody else is the problem but them. Hey, Nick, how are you, boo? Thank you so much for tuning in, Ladybug. I appreciate you. So people with personalities who are self-aware like myself are sometimes easy targets for narcissists and gaslighting behaviors, because I am self-aware and I'm also very transparent and I'm an open book. So if I trust people and if I feel like I'm in a safe space, I will, oh, thank you, Neek. I will share certain things about myself because I'm not ashamed. My journey's my journey, my life and my past. It is what it is. I don't have anything to be ashamed of. I don't have anything to hide. And not that I just go around, hey, Lisa, how are you? Not that I just go around, telling everybody, this was my life and these are the things I've been through. But it's kind of like on an as needed basis when I feel like my story may help somebody, may make an impact, whatever. So I've shared with y'all that I suffer from panic and anxiety. That is not a secret. I don't care who knows it. There are other things y'all know that I've had a previous marriage. I had a failed relationship. Y'all know that. There's not anything I have to hide. I've shared certain issues that I have within my family. I don't have anything to hide. However, when you share that with people who are prone to gaslighting, you will end up hearing those things regurgitated back to you whenever you have an issue with them or somebody else and they want to give their opinion. And so if you share with someone what maybe some of your flaws are or what some of the mistakes you've made in the past, when they're trying to gaslight you, whenever you come to them with an issue, they're going to use those things that you shared with them against you to make them right. So you come to them, like, say, for instance, you are in a relationship with a man or a woman who is a gaslighter. And so you share with them that in your past relationship, you had certain trust issues because of things that this person did, and you found them not to be trustworthy. And so now you're in this relationship with this person who gaslights, and y'all have some kind of issue and trust surrounds it. Instead of them trying to figure out what they did to cause you not to trust them or trying to have that conversation, they're not even going to address what they did. What they're going to say is, well, that's just how you are. You just have trust issues because of this, this, and this. Or if there's something going on and you shared that, maybe you suffer with depression from time to time. And so maybe you're in a bad mood, you're feeling down about something, and it's something that's directly connected to them. Instead of them trying to work through it, they're going to just say, well, that's just because you deal with depression. There's nothing really going on. It's just you and the issues that you have. Or if you share issues that you had in your upbringing, they're going to say, well, it has nothing to do with me. That's just because of how you were raised or how your mom treated you, and you're just taking it out on me. They're never going to even consider the fact of what you're dealing with them is about them. They're going to use everything you said. And even if you shared something with them that was an isolated incident, right? Maybe you had a time where you were supposed to be doing something and you really weren't feeling confident about it. You didn't feel comfortable in your own skin, and you shared with this person, yeah, I went to this one event. And hey, Tim, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you, sir. And you tell them, I really didn't feel comfortable at that event. I don't know why. My confidence was just low that day, whatever it is. And so then something happens and you're doubting something else. They're going to say, oh, well, you suffer from low self-esteem anyway. That's why you're feeling that way. You don't have, confidence. And it's like, no. That's not it. I know the difference between an isolated incident, and I'm going to put the link in the chat just in case anybody wants to join me up here, has any questions or something they want to add. I had forgotten to pin that link earlier, but that's the kind of stuff that they're going to do. And so you have to recognize that right away, because if you don't, you will literally feel like you are living in a twilight zone, and you are going to doubt every single thing that you do, every single thing that you say. And then you're never going to know who to believe and what's true and what's not true. And I'm telling you, that is a miserable place to be in, when someone is feeding you with the fact that you are always wrong, you don't know what you're doing, you always see everything the wrong way. It can really cause you to go into a deep, dark place, because even though I say, I'm self-aware and I pride myself on being self-aware, we all believe that we know ourselves to a certain degree, right? We feel like we know ourselves and how we react. And who wants to be walking around all the time wondering, am I really who I think I am? Because another thing somebody who gaslights will do is they will put other people on the bandwagon, right? So they'll use things like everybody thinks that about you, or you have these issues with everyone. And what they also will do is not feel like it's necessary to bring you any receipts or any facts. They'll just use these blanket statements like, well, you have problems like this with everybody. It's not just me. And when you say, well, who else have I had problems with? Then they'll say stuff like, I'm not going to waste my time going down that list. You had problems with everybody. You know what I'm talking about. And so then you're thinking, do I have these problems with everybody? And so then you'll start thinking about any issues that you might have had with anybody and wonder, was that my fault? Or am I the reason why I'm no longer friends with this person? Because they're going to plant those seeds, but you're not even thinking they're not bringing me any receipts, because people who gaslight and narcissistic people will speak with the utmost confidence. Thank you for sharing those links, Tim. They will speak with the utmost confidence. They will speak like, they know it all, and have you wondering and not even realizing they gave me no facts. We got a guest coming to the stage. What's up, CC?
Girl, you are definitely hitting it on the head tonight.
I knew I owed this one. I'm like, they've been asking for this one.
Yes, because definitely, it make you second guess everything that you know of yourself, and you're like, how do I not know myself? And they will make you seem like you done lost it.
Absolutely. And that's what they do. They're so good at it. Like I was saying, we'll even know to ask for the receipts. Like, well, when did that happen? Or who said that? Or when was I like that? But they'll come back with, I'm not going through all that. I'm not dealing with that. You know what I'm talking about. And then you'll just keep moving on and won't even realize, you know what? They never are able to back it up. But they say it with so much conviction.
Right. The confidence that, person, when they gaslight you, you're like, especially if you have any kind of low self-esteem or any doubting that you have, they will definitely use that, especially if your boundaries are not up. They will just walk all over that stuff.
Yeah. And it's like a lot of times when it happens in like a dating relationship, they'll use that for the reason why you were single. Like, see, that's why, you don't have a man, or you don't have a woman, or that's why your other relationships didn't last. And it'll have you thinking, if you've had any failed relationships before, like I said, even if it's with other friends and you've had fallouts with other friends, you'll really start thinking, is it me? Because what I know too is there are people who walk around who are completely oblivious. And so I'm like, is it me who's the one who's oblivious? Like, they will really have you doubting yourself. And so you have to always be vigilant. And when you have these relationships and you pick up any sign of that, you have to be extra super sensitive, because
and sometimes they can even, maybe gaslight your friends that you're with. So then you're starting to second guess your friends, and you're like, and they don't even know them, but yet the way they sound so confident in what they say, well, she just blah blah blah, whatever, and you're like, oh, is she like that? You start believing that, because they sound so confident in saying it.
Well, something else somebody who gaslights and is narcissistic will do, as far as your friends too, they'll convince you, like if you'll say something like, well, I don't have this issue with any of my other friends, or, my other friends never say this stuff about you. They'll say things like, oh, well, they're just scared to be honest with you, or they're not real friends, or, they'll say things like that and have you second guessing that. They'll just tell you like, well, they just won't tell you, but I know that they feel the same way. And it's like, is that really the case? Because one thing that happened with me that made me an easy target for a gaslighter is because I allowed myself to accept the tag of being mean. And that was just something people always said about me. I mean, and I'm not mean. I had to realize that I'm not mean. I'm direct. I'm blunt. but I am the best friend you could ever have. I am very kind, but for whatever reason, people like to tag me with mean. And the way they would gaslight me is anytime something happened and I would say something, they would just say, well, you're always so mean. And I would then think about like, well, was I mean? And so I had to get out of my head about that, because I'm like, no, that's just people using things against me to try to manipulate me and try to, their bad behavior was because I'm so mean. And I'm like, no, no, no. I didn't make you do that. I didn't make you say that, you know, but that's what they'll do. And they'll just have you second guessing. So forever, I walked around just actually claiming and owning, I guess I'm just mean. And I realized, no, I'm not mean. I'm not at all. Hey, cousin Rhonda, how are you? Thank you for being here. But yeah, we have to just be very, very aware of that, because they will play super mind games on us. And if you let them, you know, see any bit of vulnerability or a weakness, they're going to play on that every single time and just make us feel horrible about ourselves and actually feel like you are in the twilight zone. And it's not a good feeling. Not a good feeling at all.
And I just wanted to come up there and say you are definitely hitting the nail on the head tonight, and just continue with this. So it's good.
All right. Well, thank you, sis. I appreciate you for coming up. All right, girl. Yeah. And so, and it's funny, you know, when CC mentioned as far as about the friends, that's something, you know, gaslighters also like to, you know, a lot of idle threats. You know, they act like they know you so well and they're going to let your secret out to the world, right? And so they're going to tell your friends how you are and things like that. And so first of all, what you should be aware of is anybody who really loves and cares about you, even if you're not the greatest person, okay? Even if the things that they're saying about is true, they're still going to want to protect you against other people. So anytime you have these people who are threatening to out you and tell other people, or, you know, something gaslighters will say all the time, or narcissistic people is, you know, oh, well, they just don't really know the real you. Well, that's a big warning sign, because if you really care about me and you love me, even if I do have certain issues, then you should want what's best for me. And maybe that is me getting help. Maybe that's me getting a coach. Maybe that's me doing better. But why would your threat be that you're going to tell other people about me? Another thing that people who gaslight do is they always want to make you the butt of the joke in front of other people. They want to say little things and then act like it was just a joke. And then when it hurts your feelings, then you're sensitive, then you're looking for stuff. And so those people, there's nothing wrong. Oh, I'm sorry, cuz. And I know that stuff is definitely, it is not easy at all. But people always want to be, you know, make you the butt of the joke. And there's nothing wrong with harmless play and, you know, joking and roasting one another. But it's just that when somebody wants to do it all the time, and especially if you're in front of a new group of people, or maybe you're introducing them to a different friend group or whatever, they want the spotlight on them. And the way they put the spotlight on them is by saying negative things about you, but they say it in a playful way, because that's what people who gaslight do. They're always going to say, I was just joking. You can't take a joke. I was just playing around. Oh, nobody took me seriously. And now you're so sensitive. You see what I'm saying? You're so dramatic. Never going to take accountability. You said, I out myself so no one can ever threaten to out me. Yeah, and that's the funny thing too, a lot of times, because again, those of us who are self-aware, those of us who are an open book, those of us who ain't got no shame in our game, for whatever reason, gaslight people like to prey on us, which is like, yeah, I'm the wrong one to say that you're going to tell anything about me, because again, I'm an open book and I share a lot. Anything that somebody can tell somebody about me is just because I didn't feel a need to say it. But it's not that I'm embarrassed of it. It's not that I'm hiding it. So say whatever you want to whoever you want. But there are people who aren't necessarily open books like that. And everybody has a right to their own privacy. Everybody doesn't have to walk around going on live and talking about their lives. You know, it's different strokes for different folks. This is what I have been called to do, to help to make an impact on other people so that they don't have to go through the same things I went through, just to be able to get a little bit of insight to people. However, if there's other people who prefer to be more private, that is okay too. But gaslighters will actually do that as well. If you are private, if you don't want people to know stuff, then they'll use that against you. Oh, well, if you're so embarrassed, then why'd you do it? Or why do you care what other people think? Oh, I thought you didn't care what other people think. It's like, it's those mind manipulation games where you have to be strong enough in your mind to realize I have a right to share whatever I want to share and not share whatever I don't want to share. And if I don't want to share something, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm embarrassed by it. And guess what? I'm allowed to be embarrassed by something. None of us are perfect. We all have made a choice or two in our lives that we're not the proudest of. That doesn't make you a bad person, but gaslighters will always try to make it seem like you're phony, you're a liar, you are putting up some fake persona out here that's not really who you are, and people don't really know you. And it's like, no, we all have different ways we show up in different places in front of different people in different ways for different events, for different situations. And that is normal. Like, anybody who says, oh, I act the same all the time, is either lying, or they just don't know how to be appropriate, or they don't go to many places. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to act the same way at a funeral as you would at an amusement park. Now, am I Stae everywhere I go? Absolutely. But I don't even necessarily share information with y'all on these lives and the podcast the same way I share information when I'm doing a corporate training. I know how to act appropriately. I read the room. I know who I'm talking to. I know what I'm here for. But somebody who gaslights will say, oh yeah, you just phony out there and people don't know. Oh, they would be so shocked to know who you really are. And it's like, and it will make you start thinking like, am I phony? Like, should I not be acting like that? Like, I'm telling you, if you have never been in relationship with somebody who is a narcissistic gaslighter, this is probably going to sound crazy to y'all, but that is how they do. Like, everything you say, they're going to twist it in a way where it's a question. It's always a question. And you're going to be feeling like, is that really that? Like, no, I don't have to be the same way. Hey, J3, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you. Girl, you know, and that's what they do constantly. And so those are the things that you have to be aware of. Am I constantly questioning myself? Am I always walking away? Like with gaslighters, I'm telling you, every conversation that you have with a narcissistic gaslighter that you walked into it feeling like you needed an apology, you're going to walk away either have given an apology or questioning whether you should have just apologized to them, because that's how it is. They are going to make you feel bad about everything. They will not support you in anything you do and then tell you how much you don't support them and then convince you of how much they have supported you, even though they have not. They will say, I support you in everything. I don't know what you want from me, and have you questioning yourself. It's absolutely, it's crazy. And so what I want to do is something different than what we've done on the podcast before. I need y'all to I'm going to give y'all a minute to grab a paper and a pen, or do it in your phone in your notes section. But we're going to take a gaslighting quiz to see if you are being gaslit, because I'm sure as I've been talking, y'all are questioning in your mind, if you don't already know, some relationship that you're dealing with right now, whether it's a familial relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship, whether it is a business relationship, There is somebody, some relationship that as I've been talking, you've been thinking, has that person been gaslighting me? Is that person a narcissist? You've been thinking it. I know you have, because unfortunately, we all run into one or two throughout our life. Let me see. Lachey said, one thing you're going to do is preach and give pointers. Let me get my pen and paper. I'm locked in. Thank you, boo. Yes, y'all know. So we're going to take a quiz that I put together, and it's going to be on a point system to figure out if we are being gaslit. And then we're going to take this quiz, and nobody has to share what their results were, but I really want y'all to know. And then we're going to talk about how to overcome gaslighting and the manipulation. And because now we're going to recognize it, and then we're going to talk about how to overcome it, because I'm telling you, it will do a job on you. J3, I've been gaslit for 38 years. No, you have not, sir. Stop it. Stop it. See, look, and now I'm gaslighting you. That's what that just was, right? So that was a real life example of gaslighting, because I just gaslit J3, because if J3 feels like he has been getting gaslit for 38 years, he has every right to feel that way. But here I go. No, you're not. But that's what I'm saying. Narcissistic people and people who gaslight you, they will simply tell you that you do not feel the way that you're saying that you feel. They will tell you that. If you say, you know, I'm really sad, you ain't sad, they'll do things like literally sad. Somebody could die. Okay. And you can be sad that that person died, and they will say things to you like, why are you acting like you sad? You really didn't even like that person, or you really didn't even know that person. That's the kind of things, and make you feel like you're just this horrible, phony shell of a person. That's the kind of stuff that they'll do. People who gaslight, if you tell them you don't like somebody, but then you're out and about and you see the person and you speak to them, oh, I thought you didn't like them. See, you so phony, like, or you aren't even consistent. Why'd you speak? And you're thinking, I just spoke because I'm grown, I'm mature, it's the right thing to do. But they'll have you thinking, am I crazy? Like, is that not what I'm supposed to do? I'm telling you, that's what they'll do. See, that's what J3 does to you, CC. J3, stop gaslighting CC. Stop telling her how she feel. You know he ain't got no sense at all, at all, at all. All right, y'all. So y'all got y'all pen and paper. We're going to take this gaslighting quiz. And so the answers to this question, or these questions, are just simply yes or no. And then we're going to tally up our yeses at the end. Okay. So the first question is, do you often second guess your own memory or perception of events after talking to this person? Meaning, do you have conversations with this person about certain things and they say, that's not how that happened, that's not when that happened, I don't know what you're talking about, that never happened, and then you walk away wondering, is that really how that happened? Is that because something else gaslighters will do, like, say if you are somebody who has cocktails, they'll have you thinking that you're like this sloppy drunk. If you say anything, they'll be like, oh, well, you was probably drinking. That's the kind of stuff people who gaslight you will do. Oh, you was probably drinking, that's why you don't remember, or that's why you saying that. That's the kind of stuff they're doing. So that question is, do you often second guess your own memory or perception of events after talking to this person? Yes or no? Question number 2, does this person frequently tell you that you're too sensitive or overreacting or dramatic when you express your feelings? Yes or no? Like we said, anytime you tell them your feelings have been hurt, anytime you tell them that you're upset about something, even if it's not with them, because they're going to try to build a team. Like I said, they're going to tell you, well, your friends really don't know you, or you do this with everybody. They love to use words like everybody, all the time. Those are the kind of words. They're going to be all encompassing, because it can't just be them, right? Because they're the ones who are normal. You're the one with the issue. So they're going to say that. They'll say none of your friends like you. You don't really have friends, or that's why you can't keep your friends. So does this person frequently tell you that you're too sensitive or overreacting when you express your feelings? Yes or no? Number 3, have you ever felt like you need to apologize even when you're sure you did nothing wrong? Yes or no? because gaslighters will wear you down to your very last compound. Like I said, you'll walk into the conversation looking for an apology, and you'll leave either have given an apology or feeling like you should apologize just because you want it to be over. Because gaslighters will also be very dramatic, and they will cry and they will holler and scream, but you did this to them. You drove this to them. They wasn't even feeling like this. Gaslighters will always tell you they were having a great day until they talked to you. You ruined everything. That's what they do. I know y'all have heard that stuff before. So does this person make you feel like you need to apologize even when you're sure you did nothing wrong? Yes or no? Number 4, does this person make you feel like your concerns are trivial or not worth discussing? Yes or no? Again, the gaslighters are the ones who are quick to want to change the subject whenever you bring up something about you. They're quick to want to call you petty. They're quick to have something else to do. So does this person make you feel like your concerns are trivial or not worth discussing? Or are they the ones who say, I don't have time for your mess today? That's the kind of stuff they say. Number 5, do you feel confused or anxious after conversations with this person, unsure of what just happened? That twilight zone feeling, like, what was that? Like you go in to have a conversation without any expectation, definitely not thinking there was going to be an argument, and all of a sudden it's World War III. So does this person, do you feel confused or anxious after conversations with this person, unsure of what just happened? So do you have that twilight zone feeling after conversations with this person? Number 6, has this person ever denied saying or doing something that you clearly remember happening? Yes or no? Gaslighters, narcissistic people are to the grave people. They will deny. You show them the video, they'll say, wasn't me. Wasn't me. It doesn't matter. They have no problem doing that. I never said that. I never did that. And those are, like I said, they use definite words. Never, always, everybody, all the time. Those are the kind of words that gaslighters use. I never did that. I never said that. I would never say that. Those are the kind of things that they say. And they will deny, like I said, till the bloody end. Number 7, do you find yourself making excuses for this person's behaviors to others or even to yourself? And that happens a lot when we're in abusive relationships. And so you also have to remember, abusive relationships are not just between people in a romantic relationship. Hey, Shawnee, how are you? Thank you so much for joining us this evening, lady. Do you find yourself making excuses for this person's behaviors to others or even to yourself? Do you tell yourself that's just how they are? They don't mean any harm. Do you feel a need to kind of introduce this person's behavior to people before they actually meet them? Number 8, does this person try to isolate you from friends, families, or other support systems? Yes or no? And again, think outside of just the romantic relationships. There are friends like that who they got something bad to say about all your other friends. They'll be like, oh, you hanging with them. Oh, I saw you on Facebook with your little friend. Oh, them ain't your real friends. Stuff like that. Even stuff that they make it seem like it's just silly, like, oh, I know you ain't had fun. Or, you know, every time you go with them, it's some mess. Like, are they always trying to isolate you? They just want you to themselves. And if it's a friend, do they have issues with you doing stuff with your family? Or is it a family member who seems to not like any of your friends? Number 9, do you often feel like you're walking on eggshells around this person to avoid conflict? Yes or no? Do they seem to be easily triggered by every little thing you do or say? Do you avoid even saying anything to them about the way you feel because you know it's going to be a big mess, and you know I'm already feeling some kind of way, but if I try to address it with them, I'm going to end up feeling even worse, so I'm not even going to say anything? That's somebody who you're dealing with. That's a narcissist. That's somebody who you're dealing with who is gaslighting you. You rather just feel bad than to address it, because then you know you're going to feel worse. You're walking on eggshells. You don't want to say anything to this person. Do you find yourself, you're hiding stuff from them? You don't want to tell them anything. You downplay stuff. Number 10, has this person ever tried to make you feel like you're crazy or losing your grip on reality? Yes or no? And they will say straight up, you're crazy. You're losing your mind. That never happened. You're unhinged. You're upset about everything. Those are the kind of things a narcissistic gaslighting person are going to tell you. They'll blame things on, you know, menopause. Those are the people who always want to say stuff like, oh, is it your time of the month? Those are the people. They just want to make it seem like you're crazy. And again, they will have you questioning yourself, because when you're not narcissist and you're self-aware, you always want to make sure that you're acting appropriately. So when somebody that you care about and is supposed to care about you is saying certain things, you take it to heart and you start to try to figure it out. And the next thing you know, you are losing your mind, because you're wondering, you know, like they say, like, do crazy people know they crazy? And so if someone's constantly telling you you're crazy, maybe you're starting to think, well, shoot, I'm sorry. Maybe I am, right? All right, so I need y'all to count up your yeses, and that's what's going to let you know if you are indeed in a relationship with a narcissistic gaslighter, because I feel like they're one and the same. I don't think there's a narcissist out there that does not gaslight. All right, so if you had 0 to 2 yeses, it's unlikely that you're being gaslit in this relationship. However, stay aware of your feelings and trust your instincts. So if you 0 to 2, you doing pretty good. Oh, shoot, CC. Girl, we need some offline time. Okay, 3 to 5 yeses. There may be some concerning signs of gaslighting. Consider speaking with a trusted friend, counselor, or therapist to explore these feelings further. Because like I said, some people are part-time gaslighters. Like if they're not full on narcissistic, some people can just make their little snide remarks and whatever, but it's not a full-blown thing. Some people just like to be condescending sometimes. So if you had 6 to 8 yeses, gaslighting is likely occurring in your relationship. It's important to seek support and start establishing boundaries. And then 9 to 10, this relationship is highly toxic and damaging. Consider taking immediate steps to protect your mental and emotional well-being. And I know that may sound like, oh my gosh, alarm, but that is true. If you are in relationship with a person, and I hope none of y'all, Cece says she had a 10 out of 10, that's difficult. And I don't care who it is with. The only thing you can do with those kind of relationships is to separate yourself from it. J3, ain't nobody playing with you tonight. How you get 11? But the only thing you can do, unfortunately, is remove yourself from the situation. You know, because you see, with the 8 out of 10, or was it 9 out of 10? The 9 to 10, it didn't even say create boundaries. Because if this person is already gaslighting you and doing 9 to 10 of those things, they're not going to respect any boundaries. They're going to gaslight you about the boundaries, right? They're going to call you dramatic. They're going to call you stupid. They're going to call you insecure. They're going to do all those things. And then they're going to tell you that they don't really care if you stay in relationship with them or not, because once they're found out and called out, then they're done with you anyway. And so the only thing you can do, and again, unfortunately, I don't care who this person is in the order in your life, whether it is somebody you've known all your life, whether it's the person who gave you life, whoever it is, there's nothing you can do besides remove yourself from that relationship, because it is not going to stop. The only thing that's going to stop a person who has that type of personality is for the Lord himself to touch them and them to become aware and decide to get some help. And then they're going to have to do more work than most of us would have to do in therapy and in counseling to really get what they need. I tried to leave, but she followed me. So you got a narcissistic gaslighter who is also a stalker. J3, you need to be calling some kind of helpline, right? You got a lot going on. But that's the only thing that you can do. And when we talk about overcoming this emotional manipulation, the only thing that we really can do to really overcome it is seek therapy, because that's the baggage that will carry into other relationships. Trust and believe that a friendship that you have with somebody of the same sex that is a toxic relationship and is a relationship with a narcissistic gaslit person can still affect how you move in a romantic relationship. A relationship that you have with somebody in your family that was a manipulative, emotional wreck, gaslit, narcissistic relationship can affect how you move with your friends. Like all of our relationships that we have with different people in different areas of our life can still affect other relationships. Don't think that you only bring romantic relationship baggage to a romantic relationship from another romantic relationship baggage. No, people talk about stuff like daddy issues and all that. All of you shows up in your relationships, no matter what they are. And so that's something that we're going to probably talk about in the next couple of weeks is triggers and trauma. But our triggers and trauma come with us everywhere. You don't only have romantic triggers and trauma that only follow you in your romantic life, and then familial triggers and trauma that only follow you in other familiar relationships. No, you're only one person, and all of that makes up who you are. And all of that is in all of these relationships. And so when you have dealt with a relationship like this, trust me, walking away from it is the only thing you can do, but then you need to heal from it. Then you need to process it. You need to figure out what it was about you that allowed you to deal with it for so long. You have to learn how to recognize the signs sooner. You have to regain, because if you were a confident person before that relationship, trust and believe some of your confidence is going to be diminished after it, because we also beat ourselves up, right? Why did I deal with that for so long? Why did I let that happen for so long? I saw it before. Why did I let that person have so much control over my mind? So you beat yourself up, and it's going to be counseling, therapy, that's going to help you work through that. It's going to help you to forgive yourself. It's going to help you show yourself that grace you deserve, but then also give you the skills and the tools that you need to never let that happen again. Because no matter how strong we are, and I use that word loosely because we shouldn't have to be that strong, right? But it's just the world that we live in, where, unfortunately, we have to have this invisible guard up. And that's a little hard to deal with when you are genuinely a good person and you're a kind-hearted person. You don't want to always have to have that guard up, but we're going to have to learn how to do that, but still be able to love and still be vulnerable. So it's a whole process that the professionals can help with, because I can sit here and talk all day and do podcast after podcast. But like I said, I'm a coach, but I'm also a survivor. So I have a lot to lend, but I'm not a licensed therapist. But I have a lot of history with therapy, which gives me what I need to be able to suggest therapy to y'all, but not give you therapy. But therapy is what helps us get back whole, where we're not still just dragging that around all the time from relationship to relationship. Let's see. Folks command all of you as if you don't have a life, and you start losing yourself, but they don't care. You have to take your life back. Yes, you have to take your life back. And that's twofold, right? So you have to take your life back and your control back from them. And then you have to take your life back to you, where you're forgiving yourself. And, it's a whole process. But I say it all the time. People will literally suck the life out of you, and they'll be just doing just fine and leave you as a shell of yourself and never think twice about it. And people have asked me before, like, people who are gaslighters and narcissistic, are they really happy? I don't think that emotions like love and happiness are things that even concern them. Or they'll say, did that person ever really care about me? Did that person ever really love me? Well, the answer is probably no. And I don't care who it is, but it's because they're not capable. It's not because you're not lovable. It's not because you're not worthy. It's because they're not capable. The only person that they really love and care about is them. And that's not healthy. But as far as being happy, I don't think a narcissistic person who gaslights really cares about being happy. What they care about is being in control, right? And they want to be in control of other people. Hey, Felicia, thank you so much for being here and also for tagging somebody. I appreciate you. So I never want you to walk away from one of these relationships with a narcissist and walk away from being gaslit and even give a concern as to whether this person loved you. It doesn't matter, because they're not worthy of your love. And why would you want the love of somebody like that? But also know that those are things they're not capable of. They're not caring about the positivity. They dwell in the negative. That's what feeds them. That's what keeps them going. It's not, you can't love a person out of their narcissism. Right? It doesn't matter how much you love them. And usually these people get so much of our love because they're also very needy people and they drain us. But I just don't ever want you, as you're overcoming this, to start to wonder, what is it about me? What made them treat me like this? No, they're going to treat anybody like this, and anybody who they can't treat like this, they're not going to have any use for that. But they know how to turn it on and off in certain situations, but it's only to benefit them. But people who are narcissists and gaslighters, they also don't really care too much how they looking in these streets, because that kind of stuff doesn't bother them. So they will show their behinds in the street, because guess what? They're going to blame it on somebody else. So the only thing you can do is keep it moving and heal for you. But worrying about how they felt about you or why they did this to you, it's a moot point, because the answer is, and the bottom line really is, because that's just how they are. That's how they're wired. And it was a shock to me when my therapist told me that people with those types of personalities and behaviors are almost impossible to help. Like, that is a strong mindset, right? That is a mindset of someone who is determined. Yeah, you got to cut them off. Who is just determined to be exactly who they are. So until they come to terms with it and they decide to make a difference, and I don't know what would even cause them to make a difference, because what I can say for sure is I've run across a couple of those people in my life. Not all of them have I had a direct relationship with, but I can say I've never seen one of them change. Never. I mean, until their old age, because they're locked in. They're always right. They don't see anything besides, it's just that tunnel vision. It's me, 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 me. And so there's no need for you to be worrying about why they did it. They did it because that's what feeds them. It's that control. It's that power. And you could say that these are people who are probably insecure. And yes, probably, but that's a different type of mental. Like, there's not even a medication, right? You have medication for schizophrenia. You have medication for bipolar. You have medication for depression, anxiety. There is no medication for narcissism. Have you ever thought about that? There's no medication. It is a personality defect. It's a personality disorder. It's like there's no medication for it. How bizarre is that? That's how serious it is. It's like a cancer, right? And they still trying to find the cure. There is nothing. These people are so locked in. And I do feel bad for people because it's just, they miss out on the greater parts of life. They miss out on true, authentic relationships. They miss out on love, and then they destroy a lot of lives along the way. And so it does make me feel sad for them. But on the flip side of that, I'm feeling sad for them, but they're not really feeling sad because they dwell in it. So even though a lot of people with this narcissistic and gaslighting behavior and the personality disorders may find themselves alone, they don't look at it the same way we do. They blame it on everybody else. They're alone because of all the other people, and they convince themselves that they don't need other people because no one measures up. No one gives as much. No one loves as much. They're up here and they're by themselves because they've been misused and abused, and they've been treated so poorly. And that's the thing. When you come to them and tell them how they've made you feel, all they're going to tell you is all the things that you've done to them. And so even feeling bad for them and the fact that they're lonely is hard, because rarely are they going to be upset about it. They're going to be angry about it. You know, you don't have many people with narcissistic personalities that get super sad. No, they're angry. They're angry and they feel like they've been done wrong, and they don't see any part that they played in where they are in their life. And so they can even rest in their loneliness. They can rest in being by themselves because they're by themselves because everybody else is just a horrible person who didn't deserve them anyway and didn't treat them right and didn't do anything for them. And so it's so difficult. It's so difficult. And, you know, what can we do, right? They exist with the rest of us. And so all we can do is protect ourselves, right? Let's see. Hey, Latoya. Latoya said, you must know my ex. You won't have to pay him for his story. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's a story that so many of us have, but I'm telling you, if that little quiz, if the talk I gave today could help anybody avoid one of these relationships, get out of one of these relationships. And the thing is, sometimes we still grieve the relationships, right? Because we try to be Captain Save-A-Ho, no matter who it is. I just use that term being funny, but you know, no matter who it is, because we want to help them be better, right? We feel bad for them, but they don't feel bad for them. And so we stay way longer than we should. And again, remember, these are relationships with anybody, because I never want y'all to get stuck on the romantic relationship, because so many of us stay in toxic relationships with our mothers, our aunts, our kids, our best friends since elementary school. Because when you talk about relationships, people always thinking about man and woman or whatever, but no. And just trust, no matter whether it's family, blood, family, because you've known each other forever, you don't deserve, you were not put on this earth to be used, abused, and misused by anybody, right? We try to fix them, because a part of the reason why we try to fix them is because they convinced us in some small way in us that it's our fault. It's what we did to them. And even when things happen to us, their main concern is how it's going to affect them. We're sick, and they're upset that we're sick because of how it's going to affect them. We've lost our job, and it's how it's going to affect them. It's never about us. Right. We try to love them through it, and they don't truly feel love. And so it's so difficult. The only thing you can do is pray for them and love them from a distance, because it will wear you out. And like I said, none of us were put on this earth to be abused, misused, mistreated by anybody. And especially in our community, respect and loyalty is just crammed down our throats since we're this big. And it's certain people, right, who are held in such high esteem, and you can't say this to them, and you can't do this, and you can't question anything. And so we're raised, a lot of us, to accept abuse, not even realizing that it's abuse, because it's not that actual physical abuse, right? So we're not being beat, we're not being sexually abused, and it might not even be verbal abuse in the way you think. You know, you might not be cussed at, called out your name, because everybody who's a narcissist and everybody who gaslights doesn't necessarily use bad language. They don't necessarily even have to holler and scream. Like, they can finesse that stuff. And so Some of us are raised to accept abuse. And so you don't know any different. And then once you realize it, you're so locked in, you don't know what to do. And you deprive yourself of having the life that you were truly meant to have by staying in relationship with people who don't deserve to have a relationship with you, no matter who they are. And so you have to love yourself enough. Like I said, live your life, L-Y-F-E, love yourself first explicitly, to separate yourself from those relationships and live the life that you were destined to live. You don't owe anybody your life. So thought I was supposed to love him and he was supposed to love me back and I would feed off of his love. But I learned I had to love me first and others get the overflow. Girl, that is my motto, my theme. That's why I said, live your life, L-Y-F-E, love yourself first explicitly. And we have to give from the overflow and we have to learn how to keep our own cups full. We can't depend on other people to keep our cups full, but no one is getting anything from me until my cup is full. And it's not because I'm being selfish and I want it all for me. It's what I tell people all the time. I want to give you the best of me. And my best comes with the overflow because I'm full, I'm feeling good, I'm healthy mentally, physically. And so I want to give you the best. I don't want to give you the raggedy leftover fumes. And that's what people don't understand when I talk about living your life and loving yourself first explicitly. So many people look at it as being selfish and say, well, we're supposed to do for others or whatever, but we're supposed to bring our best. When you're running on fumes, when people are depleting you, that's when you're more likely to snap at people, be grouchy and that's not what people want. That's not the best. And so you have to be able to give from the overflow. You have to be able to give the trimmings. That is the best. So I love that you learned that lesson because so many of us don't learn it until late in life, but it's never too late. That's for sure. As long as you wake up and have breath in your body, there's always an opportunity to do something different, to do something new, to do something that's best for you. And also sometimes it's difficult because even though the relationship is toxic, even though the relationship has been negative, it's still a relationship that you got used to. And so you grieve the relationship as well. You can miss that person. And sometimes that makes you feel crazy because it's like, oh my gosh, this person treated me like crap, but why am I missing them? But what you're really missing is what you had hoped that relationship would be. Right. And so give yourself grace and know that, no, I'm not missing being mistreated. I just feel like I'm missing out on what I had hoped it would be. And now that I've walked away, I'm never going to get that. But no, you'll get it somewhere from somebody who deserves it. Again, even if it's family, your family is who treats you like family. DNA does not make you family. Tim says, still here, had to help granddaughter with something. Oh, that's okay, Tim. You got to do what you got to do. Thank you for being here. Folks truly don't know what self-love is. I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't. And we're taught so much to love other people and be kind to other people and forgive other people and show other people grace. It wasn't until recent times that people start talking about self-forgiveness and giving yourself grace. So much is focused on other people. And I know for those of us who grew up and were born and raised in the church and any type of religion, that's what's taught all the time. And I had somebody on one of my lives say that before, like, it's not supposed to be about you. You know, it's what would Jesus do, whatever. But I know the God I serve in the Bible I read talks about me being healthy and living an abundant life and me being whole and what God has promised me. And when you're in the middle of a bunch of chaos and confusion and things like that, and you're only caring about other people and you're not taking care of yourself, you're not setting yourself up to have the life that he promised you. And so you have to think about creating harmony in your life. And with harmony, that means that there's several different parts moving together for one purpose. Like they say, one band, one sound. And so I can't just be about everybody else and not take care of myself at all. That's not harmony. And that's why I like to talk about harmony versus balance, because balance means even and 50-50. Well, it's not always going to be 50-50. Sometimes I have to be about me 100% for a minute in order to give somebody 50% later. You know what I mean? And so you just have to be careful about some of the doctrine that's been put in our heads, some of the things that are, generational. And, it's like, this is what we do because that's what we've always done, or this is just what sounds good, or just, no, we are supposed to be healthy, whole individuals. And that is how we show up for everybody, including God, at our best, right? How many people do you see in the church grumbling about the work that they doing in church, don't want to go to church, showing up at church and complaining about what everybody else ain't doing, and they doing all the work? Well, the Bible says God loves a cheerful giver, and you become cheerful by keeping your cup full. And so one thing I can say is, and I don't want to make this about religion, but, that's also, who I am. I definitely have a relationship with God. I love the Lord. He heard my cry. So that is where I go oftentimes, but the Bible says a lot of things. We have to make sure that we read them all. And you can't just pull out one scripture and not read what was above it and below it just to suit your need. Let me see. My therapist told me to say, I love you to myself every time I pass by the mirror. Yes, that's something that I give some of my coaching clients to do every time. It's amazing how I started seeing a different person after a while, to the point I would stop and walk up to the mirror and just stare. Oh, I love that, Latoya. Yes, that is an exercise that I give some of my coaching clients, and the positive affirmations and just sitting and talking to yourself in the mirror, staring at yourself sometimes without even saying a word, staring at yourself barefaced and just falling in love with who you are, flaws and all. It's that one-on-one intimate time that we give ourselves to really be able to feel whole, to really be able to just love ourselves inside out, flaws and all, because it's so important. Because the more we love ourselves, the more love we can give to others. And that's the key. And that's why being selfish is not selfish, is necessary. Yes. Isn't that awesome? I love that. And you have to tell yourself that you love yourself, and that you're worthy, and that you're capable, and that you're worth it. You have to tell, because you can't depend on anybody else to tell you that. And when you've gone through certain relationship and hurt, it might take a while to believe it from anyone else. And at first you don't even believe it from yourself, right? It's a process. And so those are the things that we have to do to overcome that. And then you maintain it. And it's like, I did a TikTok a while ago about us saying, like, I am my favorite person to talk to. I love talking to me, because I get me and I know me better than anybody else. And I talk to me and I correct me. Anytime I get a negative thought in my mind and that stinking thinking and that negative self-talk, I immediately combat it with something else. I totally believe in faking it until you make it. So even on the days where I don't feel that lovable, I tell myself how lovable I am. Those days when I don't feel that beautiful, I tell myself how beautiful I am. And I fake it till I make it. And eventually I'm going to feel lovable and beautiful, because what I realize is no one's perfect, and every day is not going to be absolutely amazing. But guess what? I'm here. And so as long as I'm here, I'm lovable and I'm beautiful. I may have my moments, but I'm always lovable and I'm always beautiful and I'm always worth it. And I am worthy. Oh, okay. Okay. Your sister lives in Dallas. Oh, that is awesome. That is awesome. Hopefully we get to meet one day. When I was depending on someone else to show me love, I realized it was exhausting to be in a relationship with me. I was too needy. And that's the thing. We look for that love and we don't realize, right? Sometimes that it can come from within and needs to come from within. And so we're looking for someone else to validate us. And I love what my sis, Cheryl Pelote says, validation is for parking, not for people. But a lot of us are looking for that validation. One of the things that is a sign for me with my coaching clients is when they say something like, I just want somebody to make me happy. You already got somebody to make you happy. Look in the mirror. That's who needs to be making you happy. We need to start saying things when we're looking for relationships, that we're looking for someone to share our happiness with. We're looking for somebody to share our joy with. We don't need anybody to bring us those things. We need somebody who can add to, who can complete that. So it takes some practice because a lot of us never learn that. And so you're looking for it, not realizing that it's within you, just like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. We just got to click them heels and something, clicking those heels. And what we're talking about sometimes is going to therapy and learning those tools, or getting a coach, or, you know, whatever it looks like for you to learn those things, because it's not innately in everybody. And I'm just glad to see that it's happening more and more, and things are being instilled in little girls and little boys at a young age, and they're being taught, and there's books being written about it. You know, for children and self-love, because there wasn't a whole lot of that when I was growing up. I was always taught, like I said, to share with other people, love other people, be nice to other people. No one ever taught me how to treat myself. The only thing I was ever taught growing up was about self-respect. And it was just about things like, you know, with boys, you know, self-respect. You don't let boys be touching you, and you don't have sex until you're married, and you don't, because you respect yourself and your body is a temple. But nobody really told me why to respect myself. No one really told me how special I was, and how I needed to see myself, and how I needed to show up. And nobody ever taught me how to be confident. I was taught not to be bullied and to stand up for myself, but I wasn't really taught what that looked like outside of some type of confrontation, right? And so I had to learn that. I had to learn who I was. I had to learn my value. I had to learn my worth. And so, you know, when you know better, you do better. And that's why when I wrote my first book, Running for Your Life, a weekly devotional for today's resilient woman, in the beginning of that book, I talk about how there's a lot of that stuff that I didn't learn until I was 40 years old. But I'm so glad that for whatever reason, God allowed me to instill it in my children, into my boys, because I guess there was a part of me that knew that something was lacking. Because the thing with me is I always felt super confident, right? I never felt uncomfortable speaking to anybody, doing anything, but I still didn't have that self-love that I needed. But I was able to instill that in my kids, and I'm glad that I was, and I still continue to do that to this day, and they grown, but it's something now that I'll do with my grandkids as well. But I appreciate y'all so much for being here. This has been an absolutely amazing conversation. We still have a couple of more minutes, so if anybody wants to jump up, have something to share, have a question. Let's see. Latoya said, my mother was a huge cheerleader for us. She used to tell us how smart we were, but not so much about how to love ourselves. Well, that's awesome in and of itself, because a lot of us didn't get that either. You know, one thing I struggled with was, you know, it was always, you could do better. You could do better, you know? So, you know, it is what it is. Thank you, Cece. Thank you. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I hope you got something from it. And we're going to have to talk. Well, no, we don't have to talk, because you said you got the 10 out of 10, but that's why you let that relationship go. So you got a 10 out of 10. I guess you were thinking about a specific individual, but you ain't dealing with that mess no more. But I thank y'all so much. And thank you for being patient with me as I go through my adjustment and transitions, because, you know, this entrepreneurial life, it is not for the faint of heart. I just thank God that I have been blessed. He is increasing my territory. Things are happening. And it's just, you know, just navigating the time and just figuring out how to do everything and show up in excellence the way that I want to. So I am going to continue to be consistent on here. Wallace and I are going live tomorrow, and we're going to be talking about micro cheating. And so tomorrow with the hallway, and just talking about micro cheating, what that is, what the signs are, what to look at, how to kind of prevent that. So if you are interested in that, and y'all know we do the couples talk, but you know, it's for couples as well as for singles who desire to one day be a part of a thriving couple, because y'all know I believe in stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And I believe with everything, preparation is key. And so if you're single right now, but you would like to be in a healthy relationship, join us for the hallway, because that's something else. I was never taught, you know, how to be a wife and what a good, healthy relationship was. Thank you, Latoya, you too, and welcome to the Lifer Tribe. I truly enjoyed the live. This is my first, but definitely not my last. Oh, thank you, Felicia. Welcome to the Lifer Tribe. And y'all, let's hit our new Lifer Tribe members with a hashtag Lifer. Y'all know we the Lifer Tribe around here. I come on with Mindset Mondays every Monday. And then I'm on Tuesdays with the hallway, where my husband and I get on and talk about, the things I was just discussing with the couples and things like that. And we come on at between 7 and 7:15 Central. Thank you, Deborah. And then, of course, for those of you who are on Facebook, please feel free to go to YouTube as well and check me out, because I have a lot of content on YouTube. I do put out videos on a regular basis, just talking about different things. I just recently did a video about, thank y'all for the hashtags. I just recently did a video about confidence. And then I talked about things that you can do every day to set yourself up for a great day. So I would love to have you all subscribe to the YouTube channel. I don't know, Cece, can you drop my link in the chat, please, if you don't mind? But yeah, if you just click the link whenever Cece gets it in there, or if you just go to YouTube and put in the @ and Stae Hall, it will take you to the page. And then that way you'll see all the content, because this is actually on my YouTube channel, but I just stream it to Facebook as well. So let's see, what was that? Oh, that was showing, I put it in. But yeah, you can put it in YouTube at Stae Hall, or you can just click the link. I don't know if CC is still in here, but I'm not able to put my link in here. I don't know how to put my link in here. I probably can put my link in here. I just don't know how. But I would love to have you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel, because I'm also on my way to 1,000 subscribers. So I'm looking forward to having that celebration with 1,000 subscribers. Of course, y'all know I love to do giveaways. So once I hit that 1,000 mark, I'm looking for my link here. Once I hit that 1,000 mark, there will be a giveaway, and I give away some good prizes. Oh, Cece put it in there. Okay, I do give away some good prizes. So we're at like 740 or something like that. So almost to the 1,000 subscribers. And the thing is, I already have my watch time hour. So I appreciate y'all, because even though I don't have my 1,000 subscribers, it shows that the people who are subscribed are actually watching the content. So that means a lot to me, because my biggest thing more than anything is just making an impact and getting the information to people who it's really useful for. So that makes me feel great. And I love when y'all leave comments on the videos and ask questions and all that. And my email address and everything is always in the description box of my videos too. So if you have any questions or anything, or if you'd like to set up some one-on-one coaching, you can always reach me that way, as well as on my website as well, because I do individual coaching and all that. So yeah, if you want to learn any more information about me, you can just go to staehall.com or over to the YouTube channel and subscribe. But yeah, y'all, I am going to enjoy my lasagna. Cece, I had that little bite and I'm like, oh my goodness. And I think the boys just came home. The boys, they grown men, but the youngest one is home from his internship in Boston, and one of his other brothers, the middle one, Kobe, just came and picked him up, and they went to play basketball. And I think they might have just came in the house, but I'm not sure. Maybe not. But if they're home, I need to get downstairs and eat, because you know how it is with grown men. So I possibly have 3 grown men downstairs eating lasagna. So I need to get down there while the getting's good. But I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope that you all have a wonderfully blessed life and night. Wonderfully blessed night. Thank you all for being here. I love you guys to bits and pieces, and y'all know the drill. Always be kind and love one another, but never forget to live your life. L-Y-F-E. Love yourself first explicitly. And I'll see y'all tomorrow night in the hallway. Good night, y'all.
Living life is game. Hey, hey. Living life is game. Hey, hey. Living life is game. Hey, hey. living life is gangsta. Hey, love yourself first, explicitly. You owe it to yourself to move with that energy. Empower your self-esteem. Self-love is king. That's the only way to win. That's how you empower your dreams. Living life is gangsta. Hey, living life is gangsta.